Hello and welcome to the program The Desk on Global Television. Time again for us to look at very silent issues making the rounds across the globe in the African continent and of course Africa's biggest black nation, Nigeria. My name is Anthony Mamodi. Welcome to today's edition, today the 12th day of December 2024. It means we're reaching the business end of this year and today promises to be exciting as we look at very key issues making the rounds. We'll be looking at the recent visit of the German president or councillor, depending what term you prefer, to Nigeria. As President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, the interest and the welfare of citizens of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger remained a priority for leaders of the ECOWAS bloc. So we'll be looking at what that means and how the president intends to reintegrate these countries that have left the ECOWAS bloc. He made this observation when receiving Frank Walter Steinmeier, the president of Germany, in a state visit on Wednesday. So we'll be looking at these issues, how well the ECOWAS bloc will be able to achieve this very tall order, especially knowing that these countries are under the military reign right now. Also be taking a look at the anti-smuggling issue playing across, where the House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the Nigerian Customs Service over the alleged involvement of its officers in smuggling. Very disturbing and irony. They are supposed to protect our borders against smuggling and now they're found wanting. So we'll be looking at what the implication of this, especially with the House directing its Committee on Defense and Customs to conduct the probe into the allegations against the NCS officers. This resolution followed a motion of urgent public importance moved by Sesi Wegnag of the APC Lagos during Wednesday's plenary. So we'll be looking at how sincere this probe is going to be. Will they come out with something constructive, and what's going to be the ripple effect of this probe? We'll be looking at it keenly from different perspectives. From there, we'll be looking at other issues of national importance as we look at the courts. Sovereign the Inspector General of Police, this concerning a state high court in Membe, way back, talking about Bayelsa State, Wednesday, ordered the Inspector General of Police, Kaibe Egbetokun, to appear before it within 42 days in connection with a 649 million naira accommodation debt suit. The judge, Tiwa Abasi, demanded Egbetokun's appearance following the suit filed by Darius Obinam, the owner of Eufemi Motel in Opu Membe, Bayelsa. The court threatened that if the IGP and the two other respondents of the Nigerian police did not show up, they would be personally made to face the long arm of the law. And this is a sequel to what played out where the Nigerian police force did use, talking about the SWAT team deployed to Opu Nembe community, had allegedly occupied the hotel, turning it into an operational base without the due permission of the owners. The SWAT team, if you must remember, was allegedly drafted to the area to at the request of Temipre Silva, the former Minister of State for Petroleum Resources and the APC governorship flag bearer for the 2023 general elections. So we'll be looking at what this means on the long run. Then, of course, we all know that this yesterday made it the 12th national grid collapse. Very disturbing and heartbreaking. We'll be looking at the fact that there seemed to be confusion over the course of Wednesday's national grid collapse, which plunged Nigeria into darkness. So we'll be looking at it. Is this a national sabotage by a certain group of people to put the government in bad light, or what's truly the problem? We're looking at these issues. Also, these are many other talking points as well. We'll be looking at in today's edition of the program, The Desk, and we'll go for a quick break. When we return from the break, I'll be introducing my guest who is making his debut on The Desk, but it promises to be fireworks, and you're going to be well enlightened as regards all the big talking points on today's issues on The Desk. Stay with us. welcome back. It's now time for us to hit that discuss button, and I've got my guest in the live studio making his debut. He's no other person but Musa Ododo Abdulrahman. He is the founder and the president of the Initiative for Discovery of Nigeria Heritage and Endowment, and he's making, and also I must put, he is the project coordinator of National Policy Dialogue. So we've got a big fish here, and we're so glad to have you in the studios.
Thank you so much, Tony.
All right.
To be here. Thank you.
All right, let's begin our discussions from the presidency, where the president did host the president of GENDI, and in that discourse he talked about how Nigeria and the ECOWAS body is still not giving up on reintegrating Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. Do you think that's a very tall order if you look at the fact that these countries have already moved on under the different military rulers and also have ties with Russia and some other Western powers?
Yeah, it's actually is a tall order if you look at it. For strategically, our position as a giant of Africa, as it were, and the giant really, but I'm a student of history, so I love to go. If you don't know where you're coming from, you never know where you're headed. True. Yeah. So it's that situation calls when the situation started. I was looking at it. This kind of are we losing it? Are we losing it all? Because that is what Nigeria is supposed to be. We are supposed to be that shining light, leading the black race, and that is the destiny that we carry as a people. I would like to go back to the inaugural speech of Nnamdi Azikiwe, the great of Africa, when he was being sworn as the Governor General and subsequent president. He said, and I quote, that Nigeria, just like I said, he was. You can see that that statement was nudging on, helping us to remember who we were as a people. Because the first thing you should know about we'll come to that as we delve into that is you must not. The first thing that plagues us so much as a people is identity. Identity. There's no greater crisis in the world like identity crisis. It's the most difficult crisis you can ever, and that is the first thing that is really, really plaguing us. Who are we as a people? People want to know who are we as a people, and that is what he was speaking to. He said the challenge of, he said that I quote, the challenge of Africa as a free state in the 20th century Africa is the need to revive the stature of man in Africa and restore the dignity of man in the world. He went further and said, under no circumstances shall we accept that the black race is inferior to any other race. You know, those great men envision a great nation that will lead others in. And that is what I'm telling us, as if everybody, we are leaders in our own sphere of influence, but especially the person in the position of leadership, President, our dear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that is as it were, it can look like a tall order, just like I'm using your word, tall order, but they shouldn't look it that way. I love the way they stand over the Mr. President, that they will do all they will to bring them back. They must do, because that is when, if we did not lead other black people, that means we're losing it all. That is the destiny we must. That is what we are as a people. We must lead the black race. The Nigeria is an entity of providence. Like I told you in my destiny, in my meditation about this great entity in Nigeria, I said Nigeria is an entity of providence that must fulfill a purpose for humanity. And we should begin from there. We should bring all of us together, because that is why we can have a good future.
How easy would it be? How do you think would be the best way for Mr. President and the ECOWAS bloc to achieve this feat, knowing that they're already in ties with other Western worlds like Russia, especially, who is already having that military collaboration?
Yes, there's something that is bigger. There's no arsenal.
Okay.
Mr. Tony. There's no arsenal, there's no weapon.
No weapon.
In the arsenal of life that is so formidable in transforming a society or in taking like moral force of character. Yes. There's not just go and look into history, civilization, what has led civilization to rise and fall under this feet. So that is a charge unto us, especially to Mr. President. Just like I said, that the country you mentioned going into military ties. There's no. We should go with greater character. We should go with love. We should go with they are black men. It's because we are losing it, or just like I said, we are losing it. They don't have, they are losing who they are. They lack sense of direction. I'm telling you, permit me to use that with all due respect. So they need somebody to lead them through, and that is the charge for Mr. President. So they must dialogue. It's dialogue. There's nothing. If you like, if you don't know how war is, you must come back to it. So they must reinvigorate that dialogue table. Dialogue. I call it dialogue with wisdom.
The president of Germany did say it is very paramount that these countries come back to the bloc in order to, because of the issue of insecurity and economic advancement. How much support do you think the ECOWAS bloc needs from countries like Germany and the Western world to achieve this, knowing fully well that might also put them on collision course with countries like Russia?
Oh, very good. That is what. Excuse me.
Yeah.
That is what I said. I called actually that dialogue wisdom is what in our association we're advocating. You see, when you want to dialogue with this, it's not a kind of usual conversation. Is an elevated conversation, one that delves into the deepest dimension of our collective consciousness, inner understanding, and moral principle. These are the kind of dialogue that people look into each other, then they call for self-examination. People listen to each other, self-examination and self-introspection, so that your action will be guided by universal principle that is applicable. That is beneficial to all. When that kind of dialogue is when it can put down any other one. So it is just like you said. If we come up with this kind of dialogue with them, we are brothers. They are going to look inward. They're going to look what they see that no, there's nothing. I'm telling you, just because just like I said, they are looking. They have lost their sense of direction because of what happened. But if they can be, if there's this kind of dialogue led by wisdom, transcendent wisdom, they're going to come back, and it's very. This is the kind of so that we will not be in collision. I love the way you that's a very perceptive statement. We will not be in collision with the other countries, because that is what they call international diplomacy, and what they call diplomacy is that it's driven by wisdom. So it must be this.
That word you use, the same. He said wisdom and diplomacy.
Oh, he said
on the same line.
I'm saying, and I'm adding that it's not just ordinary wisdom. It's transcendent wisdom. It's a dialogue with wisdom. I'm telling you, this has helped every civilization at the most trying time of theirs, and this is our own trying time as a people of black race. This is our own trying time, and we must evolve that.
Finally, the president, President Bola Tinubu, did make mention of the fact that the people of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger would not be made to suffer by ECOWAS deciding to use the non-kinetic approach how key is it that the people are being considered, and what role can the citizens of these three countries play to support ECOWAS move?
You mean countries like
Niger, Burkina Faso?
Yeah, it's that. I love that first. I love that first move, that there must be. It must be approach. The approach must be dialogue through, so that we will not go to war with each other. Yes, we will not go to war with each other. And if we are able, especially, I was happy going through the news today. I saw the young Senegalese failed. Was there? Though I didn't read so much, but I just love the caption that he is on that trail too. So that bringing them back. So it's going to be a collective effort. It must just be a collective effort, so that we can pick our remaining self together along all the other countries and see how we can go collectively win this, and they're going to come back. I'm very, very positive that they're going to come back. Well,
we wish the ECOWAS bloc the very best. Let's move to the next talking point on the desk. We're looking at the reps. Representative has talking about the House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the Nigerian Customs Service over the alleged involvement of its officers in smuggling. Let's not go too far. How key is this for the House of Representatives, first of all, to even admit that there's something wrong and deciding to ensure there's a probe? Are you confident that the committees would do a thorough job, and if the job is done, that those who are found wanting will be brought to book and probably give us a lasting solution towards this? And can we truly blame the customs for getting involved with what's smuggling?
Yeah, thank you. That's a very, very pertinent question. You see that rot in custom. You can imagine. You see, custom is a very pivotal to look at the kind of money they are bringing. So, meaning that the kind of people you must have, there must be people of that you can write to. But look at what is happening. But I don't like to say, talking about any institution in Nigeria, I don't like to carry, just
generalize
or isolate them as if, my brother, they are product of this society.
True.
I'm telling you, this is deep. People do ask in some of our other aspects. They said, what about the government? I said, we must not devoid any person in the position of leadership in all any level, that we must not look at them and try to maybe try to look at them. They must be saintly, because they are product of this society. How do you want to cope with it? I'm not in any way. Let me quickly reiterate. I'm not in any way siding that anybody should do any kind of corruption. No, but if you want to solve a problem, you must go back to the basic, the fundamentals. You must look at the fundamentals. That these people are product of this society. The way we can solve this is that everybody must look inward and from your own self, from our home, to say that no, this is, because I tell people that, just like I said, we should go back to the basic. What is a nation? A nation, you are the nation, I am the nation. And this nation, this country, Nigeria, will be great to the extent of you, just like I talk about character, that what you are bringing to the table. I'm telling you. So, and I'm talking about how I don't want to preempt them, and I'm giving them the benefit of doubt, but we are all students of presidents. But from the president, I wouldn't say all, there is no investigation that National Assembly has investigated that we have still a very conclusive that we are nailing these people, and they are bringing them to book, and they will face the full wrath of. With all due respect, we've not seen. I don't know if that, but at least let's give them benefit of doubt. It is that this is going to come to a logical conclusion. Fish out the culprit, and they should say legally or within legal framework. They should fail the.
You made a very key statement saying it's something we should not extract certain. Anybody from the society. We are all part of the society. As someone who's also the national coordinator of a national dialogue, how does this play out in terms of national dialogue? Because this is more of also a national dialogue.
It should. Excuse me.
From experience thus far.
Very good. For about 30, I'm in my early 50s now. For over 30 years of my life, I had been about this. And I'm just putting that. I'm just putting that so that you can appreciate what I cannot know it, or know any human being can know it, or know any person that knows it. But in answering question, it's good to thank you, sir. Excuse me. It's good to put in that perspective. Just like I said, I'm a student of history. I had watched with keen interest. I'm a conscious student of nature, and that's the best teacher. I'm telling you, nature is the best teacher, but you have to pay something. But people now, when I talk about payment, people now look at money, especially now. No. What nature takes from you is rapt and intense attention. You pay attention. I have been paying attention.
And do you work with your instincts?
Yes. No. It's more than instinct. And with all due respect, some people, if you go well meditatively, some people said lower animals work is instinct. No. You walk with your inner man. You walk with your inner person. Nigeria is at the pinnacle of the most significant evolutionary transition. There is no historical antecedent. Any person that can discern time will understand what I'm talking about. Can't you see that people will say we have not been divided this way? I'm just saying that we have not been divided this way. In fact, the only thing that kept this country going is just that divinity. Permit me to. It's just that divinity. What kept it going is that what held it is what kept it going. Not because of you and I. And sure, the best of all are the founding fathers that I just mentioned. Of course, they have everybody. There's no perfection in any society. They're all human beings. They have their own now. I'm telling you, Mr. Tony, those men, because in every society, every generation must discover their own vision. They either fulfill it or betray it. The generation of our great founding father founded an independent country for us called Nigeria. Just like your father gave me this is a parcel of land with all the documentation. I say, go and build it home. The greatest call and responsibility of this generation is to consciously make a nation out of that country. A country is not a nation. A country is a geographical area. Nation is transcend more than country. The nation is a collective, is the spirit of the people, the collective consciousness of those people. That is it. And those things are consciously created. There is no way, there's no way, a great and unified nation do not happen by historical accident. It never happens now. They are product of a conscious statecraft. Great men like you and I come together, craft a nation with what they see from the inside. And what, just like I said, every exceptional people that had done that have combined wisdom and power in the practice of that statecraft. So I'm answering your question fundamentally that if we want to, just like I said, don't remove any so we must have a conversation about what we want to see. People must have a mental picture of the future they want to see as a people. You must have a dream. You must have a mental picture of the future we want to feature as a people. And this one does not come. It has to be a collective. It has to be a collective effort. So there must be a broad national dialogue of what we want what we want to see as a people. Nations are created. If you do not consciously create them, we can never build any.
If we are to achieve this national dialogue, the intensity you've created, it means we must have the same sound mind. Are there likely to be those who oppose this because first they cannot envision, they cannot see the light? How do you push and don't let this small minute group stop those with this powerful vision?
Yeah. You see, what I just stated for you is a natural order. That's why I say Nigeria is at the pinnacle of that most signal evolution. There's nothing you can do. Nothing can take away this that I'm talking about. There's no any group that can take away it, because even with all due respect, with the caliber of people that we have as view as a leaders now, they wouldn't have, even in every world there are aristocrats. There are people leading. It's only that those people know that they are more, what I'm trying to say in essence that even these leaders, even though as it's failure as it were, they are doing their, with all due respect, they are doing their best. They will not want this Nigeria to collapse on their head. So there's no way you will not want this kind of. You can see now, over 10 years of my life, I have been dialogue. This particular dialogue, I have been talking in any forum in my own literature, talking about. Look at, you can see now. You can see the dialogue is going. It's a consciousness I have been raising. A consciousness is just like I said, it's raising. You can see the last time if you see, you say dialogue. There's people holding kind of dialogue.
When you're talking, I could hear Benjamin Alika's voice. I could hear.
That's my great mentor and a teacher. Yeah. Yes, that's my great. We call him Great Shepherd. That's my Benjamin Alika is my, with all due respect and deepest reference, is our teacher and a mentor in this. And
because I could just
you can see yes, we are all you know that is natural. That law of attraction. When we all started from our own various, of course we come together, and nature will bring us together to evolve. There must be, and so it must be. In fact, I don't want to mention that TV station. I was in there, and I passionately call on Mr. President. In short, before Mr. President, before Mr. President spoke to that the end of bad governance, he called for you to do that.
Yes.
I had immediately he became president. I had written to Mr. President. Our organization had written to Mr. President. I sent him a reminder that there must be that dialogue. That's I'm not talking about you. That I'm talking about now. You can see that he's calling of that. It's a very, very perceptive statement of his. At least in all of that, some people said that he didn't speak well. He speak to the issue, but he called for dialogue. But there must be. I told him that with all due respect, Destiny has. I mean, throw that out of that. He must lead that dialogue. It's not dialogue you're going to leave for that. He must lead that. He must lead that dialogue. And we target with a dialogue with wisdom.
All right, okay, let's just run into the next talking point on the desk. We are looking at the issue of a court summons by the State High Court in Nembe. Let's look at this. Can we call this an abuse of power, where the former Minister of Petroleum, Timi Presiva, others in the Nigerian Police Force stations them in Nembe because he was running for governorship in 2023. They take over a hotel without agreement and use that as an operational base, and fast forward they're owing huge amounts of money, not willing to pay, and the court is in the mix. How do you see this playing out? Now we've got Inspector General of Police, 649 million naira.
Is not just abuse of power. They are abusing that power.
And leadership.
And leadership, they are abusing it with impunity. That is very, 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 very bad. If you look at the shape it's putting in Nigerian police, you know, when you talk about policing, when you talk about police at well, that one will be another discussion for that another day. If you want to look at nation, if you want to know how nation has evolved, how the advanced they are, you look at there's some institution, you go and look. So that you can just come up with independently. Just come and say, the police are doing well like this, like this. You look at the education and stuff. Oh, they are doing. You understand? Because
those in this
is performance. I'm telling you, there are KPIs that you look at. So it's a very, very bad, putting police in a bad light, and that goes back to what we are talking about. That product of that same society. Why should we go that way? Why should a person, in the name of whatever it is, putting all of us into shame? This is very shameful, and it's abhorrent. They must. I'm sure. I don't want to, since he's a lawyer, to say prejudice. He's under. So I don't want to speak so much.
But just on the lighter note, do you think the Inspector General of Police should attend or, respect the court or
of course,
him?
Of course, that's it. Of course, he must. If there's any case that is proven, if not that they have, even with that immunity clause. I'm talking about. I'm trying to make it. Even if it is the president of Nigeria, he must answer to court. If not that they have an immunity clause. Even with that immunity clause, the lawyers will tell you that it doesn't stop from investigation. So I'm just trying to tell that even if it's the highest person in the hotel, when court calls it, that is we must try to evolve an ordered society. The earth that we are is an ordered world. We must be able to have an ordered society. If not, there's nothing we can do in getting it right. I'm telling you.
All right, in case you're just joining us, is the desk, and I've got one man who is the national coordinator of the National Dialogue, in the person of Musa Ododo Abdurrahman, not Ododo of Kogi State, the governor, but he is the national coordinator of National Dialogue, and he's joining us on the desk, and we're looking at very key issues shaping our national and global lives. So we'll go for a very quick break. When we return from the break, we'll be looking at some other key issues of importance as we look at things that would shape our life, and you're going to get the best of analysis. We'll also be coming back with a bang as we look at the blackout in the country, the 12th national grid collapse. What is the reason for this incessant grid collapse? The 12th one in 1 year. Truly very disturbing. After this break, stay with us. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching the desk, and we're into deep discussions as regards issues affecting Nigeria. And I've got the founder and the president of the Initiative for Discovery of Nigeria's Heritage and endowment. He is no other person but Musa Ododo Abdurrahman, who is making his debut on the desk, and it's been super exciting having him in the live studios, helping us look at issues from very deep perspective. All right, we're looking at the issue that seems to be confusion over the course of Wednesday's national grid collapse, which plunged Nigeria into darkness. This is as generation companies blamed the latest collapse on the stoppage of gas supply due to over 2 trillion naira in legacy debt. However, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority denied issuing a directive to wholesale gas suppliers to halt gas supply to generation companies. GenCos over the 2 trillion naira indebtedness. The NMDPR made this clarification on Wednesday in a statement. Report had emerged of an imminent blackout in Nigeria as the NMDPRA directed gas suppliers to halt supply to GenCos over failure to pay their obligations. Thereafter, we had issues that Nigeria was thrown into darkness for the 12th time in 2024. The outage occurred around 1:36 p.m. on Wednesday, according to the Jos Electricity Distribution Company. Do you think this is beginning to look like a national sabotage by some people within the power sector? Now we're seeing GenCos accuse the authorities. The authorities say no, we didn't give that directive. What do you think is playing out? And also, if you consider it was in the 70s when last Nigeria did work on our national grid.
Yeah. Thank you very much. This when I had this news, I was, you see, I don't want to get, I've been able to control my emotions all years. So now I shed tears. I shed tears without, I cry without shedding tears now. I'm telling you, that is...
Which hurts the most?
Which hurts, God bless you, which hurts the most. When I studied petroleum engineering, and we have this gas. I want to start from that, where the blame game now.
The blame game.
The supply of gas. We, in fact, when we are drilling, when petroleum engineering, when we're drilling, during drilling, we encounter gas, we close it. We have enough of that gas that we are covering. We just cover it up because that is not what we're prospecting for. It's petroleum engineering. It's crude oil. We'll get our
so we've
got everything. We've got it in abundance here.
Wow.
Then you just wonder what is wrong. But I'll tell you what is wrong now.
Okay.
Anybody that can blame it on sabotage, just like you said, sabotage. Who is causing sabotage? Is it not Nigerians? Even though if there are any person coming from outside, there's no how somebody will come to your house without
your permission.
Without permission. So let's look at it. Let's look at it holistically from that. Just like I said, I love to look at it from when the base knowledge is when the base knowledge of anything is wrong. Know that there's nothing you can put. Let's look at it fundamentally. I told you what we call nation. A nation is the human person as a nation. You are the nation and I am the nation. So it is some group of people that are perpetuating this kind of evil to this nation. They are a group of, if not, how dare you said, in fact, I had that the minister, in fact, yes, he was speaking, it didn't happen as if he's targeting his speech. When he said, we promise electricity. It happened. It is very, very, very profound. I'm telling you, I don't take things from face value. You say, it's a great collapse. That's to tell you the collapse of this system that we are. And who are the system? I don't like what sometimes I love to call things what they are. System, it is human being that build system, that run institution. That's what I say. Human being, we are the nation. This nation we develop to the extent to which we want it to develop in all aspects, from leadership, from citizen. So that is it. How can we be talking about in this 21st century? We'll be talking about we are talking about development. it's so saddening that sometimes I don't like to analyze our failure, because when you analyze failures too much, that's why I love solutions. I love solutions. I love to talk more about solutions, because by the time you analyze failure, our failure is so big enough. It's so big that when you analyze, too much analysis of failure will give you just paralyze. It leads to paralysis. I'm telling you, it needs personal paralysis to be better analyzing failure. So I love to talk more on what needs to be done.
The way it is now, who can we hold responsible? Because the way it is now is all about blame game now between the regulatory authorities and the GENCOs. Who can step in? And do you think the Minister of Power should also be called to question, because he seems to be one of the problems we have? In one of that report, he says, since the partnership between Nigeria and Germany, our power sector has become better.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, and we're suffering the 12th collapse.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Was that for the cameras or just to please the German president?
Yes, that is your guess. I mean, he's not even a guess now. He's as good as mine. You can see that is what they are. It's when they speak with all due respect. I don't like to anyone that knows me, I say I don't like to discuss people, but this is personal that it represents. It's not more. I'm not talking about personal.
Yes,
I'm
looking at the institution now.
Yes, I don't discuss people. I discuss ideas. In fact, lofty ideas for that. That is what I discuss. That can bring universal common good and universal harmony to the people. So, with all due respect, just like you said, he is in the helm of affairs.
Yes, yeah.
But so he needs to be called to question and ask some question, because it seems not to understand what he is about, what he's doing. It seems, it's from all indications, it seems not to understand it. So, with all due respect, they should call for question and let's look where do we start? Where do we start from? Look at, since we've not in power sector, we've not gotten it well. So you need to question, how are we putting the wrong place in the right peg in a right hole, or in other words, are we putting the square peg in a square hole, not round in a square? The second is, how do we even come to this extent? How do we come here? Do the GENCO, the other ones, do they have the knowledge of what they are doing as a company? If you see, all this must come to table. And that is part of what I said. We must dialogue with wisdom. We must look each other into it. It's a very simple one. Look each other in your eyes and said, no, this is what we're, so this is what you are doing, this is what, and
can we remember what the last Senate president said? I think the night Senate Lawan, he made mention that the entire power sector was a hoax. Could that be the truth? And is there need for the government to face the reality and say we need to, if it means shutting down the whole grid and being there, rather than saying we got into MOU with Siemens, and after 2 months we're back to.
Yes, the Senate president. I don't like to quote people just by mere quotation. Yes, he said the whole power sector is a hoax. Which I'm asking, which of this is not a hoax? Which of our system is not a hoax?
Wow.
Is it the oil sector that it has been? That is my domain. I know what it is. I don't want to go deep into that. Do you know that rot? In short, we don't even know the amount of wells that we have in this. There are some wells that are in sea that nobody knows.
With endless accusations on Mia Carey.
Yes. So I'm just trying to say that yes, their statement is true. I don't want to. The person that said that. I'm not looking at the person, but
the message now.
The message now is true. In short, very true. That which of our system, I beg to know about. I'm asking if you know. Tell me that is not a hoax, as it were, from his brain, his words. There's none of that. Is why I said we must. That is why there is no reform. Let me use this opportunity to speak generally, especially to President Tinubu, that he must understand what he's facing, that there's no any reform that could solve fundamental challenges. Fundamental challenges of life cannot be solved with the same state of consciousness or knowledge level that created them. Meaning that we must begin to explore the inner dimension of intelligence as well as a people. Those are fundamental. We are facing fundamental challenges. So no reform. What's real? Reform simply means you are trying to work on the you are trying to improve on the already existing processes within the framework of governance, within the current framework of governance. You understand? That is reform. But you cannot just.
But we need more than
that. Is not a reform. We need transformation. We need total transformation of this thing, of this entity called Nigeria. There must be a total transformation of this entity called Nigeria. So a reform can never. There's no reform anybody can do. Either President Tinubu or any other president as his wife has come. There's no any reform. There must be a total cleansing. That is what we need. We need, that's when you talk about a nation is like a living entity. There's a time they call it the death of a nation. There's a time that they will be in their lower ebb. I'm saying it so that they can know that we are not. I'm not saying it in isolation that we are in a hopeless situation. No. When the people are at this kind of junction, it calls for that. That is what it is in every civilization. It calls a broad national conversation. Around is a broad national conversation around what is it that will be answering some pertinent question. Now, who are we as a people? We must answer that. Who are we as a people? Where is our commonality of purpose? Who are we as a people? Where is our commonality of purpose? That is identity that I call it. Who are we as a people? Where is our commonality of purpose? What is the foundational principle of this entity called Nigeria? Which philosophy impairs the character of this state? And last, just like I said, what is the Nigerian dream? What is our most cherished aspiration, ambition, or ideals? A people must have a mental picture of the future they want to feature as a people. This pertinent question must be answered if you want to have a new Nigeria of our dream.
All right, well said, and I can't less but agree with you. Let's move to the next talking point. Time with our friend. We've got the minister talking. We're talking about press freedom here, where the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has said that the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is advancing press freedom and implementing economic reforms aimed at alleviating the sufferings of Nigerians. Do you agree with him? And we're talking about orientation. The NOA is, can we say, it's part of the program? They've not done the job. I would dare to say you're even doing the job of the NOA.
Thank you. Thanks for that. It's a kind way, but it is true. Let's admit it. You just said it, that our organization is doing the work of NOA, but just like I said, we cannot. What is our country? I have no any other.
Can they actually do the job when they're already tied to the apron of the executives?
That is exactly what I want to. That is exactly what I want to speak to. That is our institutions, because they cannot really do it, because everything is like even the judiciary now allegedly always a problem of the executive. No country, no any civilized nation runs that way. It's not there. This country is you see the realm that we are called this world wrong with principle. I'm telling you, this realm with principle. There's no how you can go in aberration without principle and you get it right. No. And this principle transcends belief. You believe in it, you don't believe in it. And my brother, the principles are true.
True.
Principles are law of nature and of nature's God. I'm telling you.
That's a close one.
It's established on principles. So you must understand
hand in hand.
Yes, you must. Yes, that's so. And you must. That's why I say, what is the foundational principle of this? About my first personal question. I say, what is the foundational principle of this entity called Nigeria? What drives it? Do we understand? Do we understand the world that we are, and where do we want to really is? Where do we want to? What is our aspiration? Where do we want to go? And what kind of discipline? What kind of self-discipline we need to afflict ourselves with? Those are pertinent questions, I'm telling you.
Talking about the government, the National Orientation Agency, Mohammed Idris, Minister, saying the government is going to protect press freedom. Do you think that's true when you get into put into consideration the Affe Babalola's issue with Farotimi, where this is like using state power and he's to bundle someone who's in the same judiciary with him, and the Nigerian police force picking him from Lagos, taking him to Ekiti to go prosecute him and getting him locked up there.
Yeah. You see, that's why I said I don't like. Excuse me. I don't like to analyze.
No, we're just looking at the freedom now.
Yes, freedom of speech. No, I'm speaking to that. Yeah. Your question is apt. What I'm saying is that immediately you want to analyze anything in Nigeria, it's already showing in your face. It's thrown up in your face now. Is it not true? What you're saying, there's no need that to analyze it. It's true now. Is it a same society? You bundle somebody and no matter what it is. No, we have to be an ordered society. It has to be an ordered society from all Africans, from head to toe, from every citizen to the leaders. It has to be. So look at the minister talking. You'll be saying something, and what is happening is different. So even my son will be. Sometimes I wonder if not that I said, if I cannot change Nigeria, I'll start from my home, because that is the
starting point.
That is building a brick of a society. are trying to create some kind of sanity inside their mind. Do you know that when we are watching TV, my 10 years old, said, Dad, why are these people behaving like this now? I'll be strong with that. My son is now seeing what they're saying. My 10 years, he knows already. I mean, we can't go anywhere with this. We can't. There must be a new Nigeria. When I say new Nigeria, I'm not saying another country. People say that. I'm not saying another country. Let me define that new Nigeria for you. You love it.
No, because this opportunity to wrap it up now.
Yeah, very good. We said one day I was before one of my old mentor. I mean, he's passed on, a great one. He just said, Abdul, come. He called me early in the morning. He said, I believe in this your new Nigeria. I love to say this any forum. I said, I believe in this your new Nigeria. What is this new Nigeria? There's no fault thinking of it. You know, it's an institution. It's an intuition. Anything that you put yourself to comes naturally. It's an organic thing. He just gave me a plain sheet. I just wrote, the new Nigeria is a conscious creation of a new nation with a clear and well-defined unifying purpose, established by eternal principles and driven by lofty ideas. He looked at me. This is a Harvard graduate. He looked at me and said, Abdul, how do you do it? I said, I don't know. I'm even writing it for the first time. I'm going to study what I just wrote. Why I'm bringing this is that there's no, you talk about NOA and there is no, you said we are doing the work of NOA. Over 20 years now, I've been writing to that. In short, as this NOA Director General, I was the first person, just like I said, I've written to Mr. President. I wrote to him. Because the former one that left, Abari called me when he used after the election. Yeah. They will say, Abari called me that this idea. I wrote to him. He called me one-on-one. He said, Dr. Abari, this is a good one. We have to take it up. Immediately they changed Abari to this person. I follow up again. Say, met with them. Let's do. You cannot do it alone. Let people come. But I'm telling you now, since that time they've not come. So you cannot be doing something in aberration to a natural law of a society or of the world. Yes, there's no way we can. There's no way. And I want to tell them with all strength of reality that nature is watching. Nature is watching. Nature is watching. There's not, if we ordinary person cannot, nature will take its course. It will take everybody back to where they belong. I'm telling you, that is it. They are working against nature, law of nature, and nature is going to do its course, and that is what we're facing now. What we're facing is a universal law, and nothing can stop it. In New Nigeria, there must be a new Nigeria. When I say new Nigeria, people don't understand. Say new Nigeria is a new Nigerian. A Nigerian embodied, like we used to call ourselves. I am an embodiment of a new Nigeria because a person is a nation. So everybody, look at Paolo, look at all these great men, look at our great founder in Nnamdi Azikiwe. All of them are great men. Not because of the system they ran. It is because they are men of character. They are men that feel with gravitas of true statesmen. I'm telling you. That is what you are. So everybody must, that's like I say, character. Character is the only thing you can. That is what you do. Everybody must come with that great character. It's the only character we can use. There's one of my writers. I'll share it with you. My website. You see, I said moral leadership. That's what we need. We need moral leaders that can exercise moral principle that can inspire a whole nation. That's the kind of leadership we need. Thank you.
All right, that's how we're going to call it a wrap on that patriotic note. It's been an amazing time with Musa Ododo Abdulrahman, who is the president and founder of Initiative for Discovery of Nigeria's Heritage and Endowment. He's also the national coordinator of the National Policy Dialogue. And indeed, it's been amazing talking with him on the desk. Hopefully, we'll be having him more often join us on the desk as we wish and hope to turn around the fortunes of Nigeria. Taking Nigeria out of the roots is what we intend to do on the desk and every other program in between. My name is Anthony Momodu, saying thank you for being part of the desk, and again, thank you. Amazing having you in the studios.
Please for doing this, because this is what I live for. Thank you.
All right, that's how we call it a wrap on today's edition of the program, The Desk. My name is Anthony Momodu. Let's do this again tomorrow when we come with other big, interesting talking points.